Alright, guys. I am back. Oh, shoot. Now I forget. Man, I keep forgetting this part. I need to put up the chat. I do this all the time, you guys. Has to be a better way to do this. Okay, for now, I am going to leave this chat up this corner over here. So I could see some. I will bring it back over here. But, yeah. So let me wait a few minutes here for people to roll in. Maybe there's none. I don't know. Oh, there you go, Gabriel. You're welcome. Welcome to the show. How are you doing today? Haven't seen you in a while. GME. No, I'm not here to talk about GME, you guys. Come on. I think you're in the wrong show, Gabriel. You're in the wrong show. Okay, let me set up real quick. Not much here, you guys. I think, GME is a done deal. And there's no new news here. Okay, only speculation and perhaps, fun prediction for the next 10 years or so. Are you gonna watch Super Bowl today? Super Bowl, whatever. I'm not much of a sporty person, so I wouldn't like every year that it comes on, or every other 4 years. Is that correct? Or see, I don't even know. Like, who cares, right? That's more important things to even watch. But yeah, I mean, if you just watch it for fun, I think that's okay. Oh, okay, Gabriel. Well, I don't think you're wrong about that, but I think it would be a normal pullback if is going to happen. I mean, every other altcoin's gonna take a tumble too, if that's the case. Yes. But it seems like it's just a normal correction, right? Because we've been seeing a lot of, let's see, a lot of enthusiasm, and then boom, right? So if you were to do a Fibonacci over here, right? So it could come down to that, yes. But this is the midpoint, and yes, so that's the price point, which also coincide with this trend over here, if you want to look at it that way. In my opinion, okay, I mean, I'm not, please don't make any trade based on this, okay? Not a professional whatsoever. Oh, see, I can't even, oh, but these are the wig, huh? Let's be a little bit more concise. Let's do this. The body of the candle. Well, this is a weekly candle, so let's go with the body. From the low to the high. Let's go with the body. There you go. So you still have a little bit. So these are the golden zone that it could go into. Could be wrong, but we'll see. So yeah, you might be right there. This is an hour candle. Let's do a daily candle here. Okay. So with that, of course, it's going to cause a lot of pain and suffering. News gonna be like, Bitcoin is crashing, Trump is wrong, look at him. something like that. I don't know.
For the Democrats and, their cronies that follow.
Okay, that's later on. She has a great point there. Okay, let's see how many people. I don't know how many people are gonna join in today. Give me a few more minutes here. Let's see. Yeah, so these are the bodies of the candle, you guys. So that's the price point right there. I think, give yourself a little bit of a range. Here's a little, like it's not going to be an exact bottom. So if you are a long-term investor in Bitcoin, crypto, and in general, of course, this is going to be a price range in which you would want to kind of accumulate more, right? But again, I mean, 20% drawdown. Well, let's see, from the top to that particular range at the bottom, only 32%. Only 32%, right? What Bitcoin is, that's normal for a consolidation and drawback or whatever, retracement of some sort. So again, this is not the end of the Bitcoin network. But the people who wants to fake you out, obviously, the news or whoever, right, who try to poop and scoop this thing is going to run a fear campaign on Bitcoin, blockchain in general, in order to scoop up at the very low price. And perhaps even lower if enough people are panicking, selling into the market here. But again, this is a poop and scoop thing, right? Or if you haven't established any position in Bitcoin, obviously, would be the best time to buy. All right, Southpaw. Ooh. Jimmy Daily RSI is in oversold territory right now. Okay, all right, cool. Thank you, sir. Oh, ma'am. I'm assuming that you are. Okay, cool. Oh, nice. Okay, so you just started your position on Friday, I assume. And from the way that you're talking, it seems like you're probably day trading. It's fun to assume something about somebody. Okay, so let's get to the show. Welcome, everybody. Let's look at Gamestop real quick. Daily routine. All right. So, daily RSI, you said. Let's take a look at that and show the people what you talk about. You're talking about. Okay. Yeah. Okay, again, not a TA person. Okay, please do not trade based on this analysis. I'm more of a long-term investor. Okay, so yeah, it's always good to find the right price point too, right? So again, I'm just doing this for fun, you guys. Okay, but anyway, so according to Southpaw over here, yes, we have a daily RSI coming down, but it's not the lowest it's ever been though. So there might still be a down pressure coming in. The lowest it's ever been, it was here, right there. And still, the price keep drawing down as well. So that particular time frame, it wasn't until 2 more months, then you see a little bit more, pressure coming out of that. But if you are drawing this right here and drawing this right here, of course, the what is this called? Diversion or whatever. So indicative of, okay, the selling pressure is way too low, and then it capitulation, right? This is the capitulation points. So perhaps that's what you need to see before, you're going to see anything else coming up. for another, another pooping and scooping campaign. So yeah, just be careful. I know tomorrow everybody is exciting about, the possibility that Brian Cohen might buy Bitcoin for shareholder on GME. But be careful, stuff like that might not happen. Okay, it's a for sure, not a good. I guess to gamble on it. Okay, not a good day to gamble if you want to buy call option. But hey, it's your money. You could do whatever you want. Just be safe. Okay, don't bet your whole life saving on this. Remember the best way to become rich is slowly. Okay, slowly. You don't have to be billionaires tomorrow. Okay. It's more consistent too, right? You might be able to, but it's rare. That's what I'm trying to say. All right, so let's see RSI. We kind of see that. I mean, is it possible that they're gonna even draw it steeper than that? Right? Anything's possible. But this is the daily RSI. Let me mark that just in case to come back to it later. Let me see the 4 hour here. No, I just went in and out, and okay, last couple of weeks. But I've been holding it since last May. Cool, that's good. Good on you that you're able to kind of come in and out. Hopefully you make a lot of billions of dollars doing that. But again, to me, I'm just not good at, timing the market here. So if you're good at that, kudos to you. But I wouldn't advocate people to do that because most people don't have the time to stare at the price all day long. Okay. For people who are working, go to work 8 hours a day, the best way to do this is to buy consistently and only the amount in which you can afford to wait for a long time for this investment to pay out in the long terms, So yeah, that's cool. All right, so that's all the TA you need to know, you guys. It's not rocket science over here. Okay, there's a simple support and resistance over here. Okay, if it doesn't hold right here, it's gonna come back over here, right? So that's the most recent one. Why? How do I know that? Well, look at this. Okay, look. Simple. No need to read RSI and all that stuff. Well, yeah, I mean, it could help to kind of time the reversal, right? The moment that it happened. But it might not happen that way. Okay. So those historical price, action that interact with this level is usually, looked at, whether it's algorithm or people who are, trading this, institutions or whatever, But like I said, most of the trading that happens day to day happens with the computer. So you're not trading against the human over here. So that's why they could fake you out at any time, any unsuspected events and all that stuff. It could just turn on you on a dime. So just have to be ready, and again, the best way to win, or I think in my opinion anyway, the only way to win is to play a long game. Okay, so that, and yeah, simple. let's see. Oh my God, why am I so flustered today? I feel like I'm all over the place, you guys. So today, again, that's the TA based on the price action. Nothing much here. Don't stress on it. If the market goes down tomorrow because of whatever hectic things that happen, current events that happens, just be prepared for that too. So, the S&P 500 has been overbought, sorry, for a long time. The Warren Buffett indicator has been in the overpriced region for a long time too. And so when that happens, obviously, in my opinion, the S&P 500 is expensive. So expect the drawdown, and the fact that this government, when Trump gets in, the U.S. aid is kind of cutting down on all of the federal, some of the Department of Labor's, cutting down some of the government jobs that is about to ensue in the next, year or so. You might see a market drawdown because of that, because now, those people are not going to have any jobs, and the markets, again, those people are going to be fine. I'm sure there are billionaires that are serving our Congress over here. All of a sudden, a public servant becoming very rich on our behalf over here. So I'll talk about that later. But my point is that just expect the market drawdown, okay, because of that, or some unexpected events might ensue as well. So be prepared for that. On Ryan Cohen buying Bitcoin, he shared in his letter that his strategy for GameStop or any retail company is to survive for the long term. So I think they will stay conservative with their cash pot. Agree. Again, conservative nature, I've always thought that about Ryan. He's not the type to move so quickly, especially when it comes to companies' money. It seems as though, he's always been conservative. He hasn't been spending erratically, spending way too much more than we actually trying to make here. Very frugal in that sense. And again, the key is survivability and profitability. And so we've been in a survival mode for the last 3 years in terms of, GameStop here. Of course, with the share offerings and all that stuff have made us become stronger over the years. But the last year, actually, because we just, issue shared pretty recently to make like $4 billion worth of that. And that's what people kind of ups and arms about that. Oh, Moas doesn't happen anymore because he did that. It's bullcrap, right? But it's okay. What people don't realize is that GME, issue over 30% of the company, and still the price is elevated to this point, right? And that's a testament to how much demand for this stock is. Remember, he was issuing shares up here or somewhere down here. On the share equity of, I think, 2 billion something. No, even less than that. Share equity was like, it was $4 a share at the time. That's all I remember. I have to go back to my old videos. So, but anyway, my point is that the value of the company was not that high back then. But still, people were buying up the stock, right? Whether it is hedge funds or whoever, right, had to return the shares back at that moment in time. GME as the company was able to take advantage of that. And with that, translate to now, we have $11 worth of book value from that particular decision, and it was a correct decision to do. And so now, we have such a strong balance sheet that nobody could touch us, right? In terms of like the company here. Yes, price action, they could do whatever they need to do to make it look like whatever, they want to draw it as, until, when you least expect it, and then they just spike the price up real quick. Hopefully, nobody pay attention to this. And so they get to kind of cover the stock slowly. But I just don't know how they could do that without, bringing the price higher. Because none of us is selling here. Well, none of us. I'm saying the majority of people who hold on to this stock doesn't sell. And again, like the majority of people didn't sell over here either. Yes, some people did take some profit over here. But again, like long-term shareholder who are holding this for the decades on end, they're not going to do it. And for me, it's tough. It's tough for me to part with any amount of shares. I'm talking about my long-term mood back over here, okay? Yes, I have my trading account as well, and I have been kind of trimming some here and there to get back into crypto. Of course, I time it wrong, but it's okay. This is for the long-term hold as well for me. Hopefully, I could catch the spike from the next leg up, because there is a lot of kind of popularity at the moment, because, okay, hold on, let me continue here. Hold on. Yes. So, okay, so my last live stream, I think 2 live streams ago, I was noted that the items see, it says 1613. Okay, so I want to see the fluctuation for this item sold. And it's in real time, you guys. Like if you refresh it now, I'm sure it's going to change again. So it's real time. And it means that on and off, see, like 7 items just added. So leadership of GameStop has figured out like the inventory of this particular, PSA card, selling and buying, right? And being the middleman of that, I think, the revenue is going to be crazy. That's only me speculating, okay? So I have to see the number, obviously. So this quarter, it's going to be, the full kind of full, what is the term? Goodness. What's the term I'm looking for? The value that comes from selling, buying and selling, trading card is going to give you an idea. The earnings report's going to show the full 3 months worth of efforts doing that. Okay. For the first time, that's what I'm trying to say, is that, because last quarter we don't get to see the full, full effect of this particular sector that GME just got into, which is trading card, Pokemon card, sport cards and all that stuff too. And so it's unfair to say that, PSA is not doing anything for GameStop, as the new media is trying to tell you, right? That this partnership is just, it's not good enough type thing, right? Bullshit. It's going to be good enough, and it's going to surprise everybody. That's just my thought. Also, Larry Chain tweets once that when you are fortunate enough to get huge amount of cash, all of a sudden he would advise to just sit on it for a year so that the emotions can be wear off. Okay. I did remember that tweet. Yes, that's true. Yes, I think the shares offering were very wise. Yep. Even though sentiments at the time was quite negative. Well, negative sentiment is usually people just, because they are investing in this company because of MOAS, right? That term's like, it's almost like they think it's going to happen so quickly. Just one day they're going to become a billionaire, just like Roy and Kitty, without studying the way that this stock is moving day to day and all that stuff, right? So again, that's the the only people that are mad about this share offering. And on top of that, people just, again, getting into this stock because of the idea that you might be able to get, rich quick, and you want to get out of it as soon as possible. So for those people, I mean, look, I wouldn't blame you. If you could catch the top, good luck. I wish everybody good luck. I wish you make lots of money doing that. To me, I'm just not good at catching the top, or selling at the top and all that stuff, because I don't know where the top is. I mean, with the value that is being created every single year, every quarter is moving forward. How can I imagine the price of GME until 10 more years to come, right? And so the compound interest that comes from the cash pile, think about that. Nobody really understand the compound interest effect here, right? And if he store it in some, investment, that's what we're speculating, whether he's going to buy Bitcoin or not, or digital asset in general. You might be, GME might be, growing into a mega cap, and it's going to get into the S&P 500 sooner than we think, right? And so that cash, even though, let's say, because he's conservative, right, he might not use all 4 billion. He might just use the interest, right? I mean, $250 million, if we could get a 4.5 return, even then, to use to buy Bitcoin every year, right, just the interest alone, you could still capture some of that to hedge for inflation, right? Again, if he agreed that Bitcoin is a hedge for inflation. And the reason why we speculate that is because of the picture that Ryan Cohen posed with MicroStrategy, right? And so whatever leadership is thinking to do, I support wholeheartedly. But also, the NFT marketplace perhaps is coming back. Always been my speculation on that too. So that's another arm that grows. We don't get to see yet. And so it seems like it's short-sighted to say that, GME only could get into what? The most that it could get to is all-time high again, okay, which is $120. I think that's falling short of, the maximum return based on decades on end here. So yeah, to me, it's severely undervalued as it is, because it's still under 50, which is 5 times book. Let's see. Yeah, let's see if GME could grow into that expectation. And in my opinion, Wall Street's gonna come begging to make to buy into GME one day. Every bank's out there who now, having to evaluate a company based on, the most talented, CEO, rather than whoever get the most connection, whoever could scam retail investor more. gets to, be up there to try to make as much money as possible. No. People are sick and tired, you guys. Like you could see with this USID thing. It's crazy how have we been so kind of asleep to this type of like racketeering. It's almost right. And so we're just so numb, to invest in an overpriced company, like Palantir, for example. It's almost like we're just in a frenzy over here that walking into something that is so expensive, but yet doesn't care about something that is so cheap at the moment based on the, balance sheets here. And so, in my opinion, this is an opportunity because not many people is awakened to the fact that GME is undervalued yet. And so, the longer that it stays suppressed like this, the better for me as a long-term investor because I get to buy it at a cheaper price. I don't care how long it takes, honestly. If it takes me 5 more years to accumulate more shares, I'll do that slowly and not even rushing at all. Because it's not going to happen overnight, you guys, okay? And these people these people who, again, I don't have any proof, okay? If they do, in fact, have the ability to push the price down, okay, if the whole naked shorting thing is true, again, I don't have any facts to back that up, then they're going to keep it down at least artificially low as long as they can to survive another day, okay? So you have to come at this as a long-term looking at it in that lens. Now, if it goes up because of this particular earnings, like, spikes up real quick, what I would do is just not buying any price that are, higher than 50. But again, do what you want. I mean, this is just what I would, this is just me protecting my, long-term bags because I don't want, when it inevitably coming back, because again, people are just short-term thinking. They're not going to understand that, okay, if it spikes like this, in 10 years, it might spike the other way, right? And then like that, right? But people are gonna take profit, short-term profit, and yo-yoing it. Who knows? But it could also be steadily moving up because they don't want to kind of bankrupt themselves if they do have to buy tons of shares at once. Now, if there's no more ass theories, there's no naked short, the short interest is what we see, which is 8% at the moment. That's still a good amount that could cause GME to run a little bit, but not to the tens of thousands of dollars over here per share. Okay. Let's see. What else should I be saying about this? Hey, Kezia, what's up? What's up? I'm here. This is just my dream scenario, and I doubt they will go this route. But I would love to see GameStop offer cloud gaming. Okay. Game Pass, streaming games. Really in the future. I mean, it takes a lot of, I guess, technology-based programmers and all that stuff. But we do have that arms, right? But it seems like right now we're just focusing on the e-commerce aspect of it. Remember, Ryan Cohen comes from an e-commerce background here. He's not a tech guy, okay? So he's a retail guy, okay? And selling pet food online and beating Amazon sales. So that's what he's good at. Now, that doesn't mean that he's not going to go into the tech technology route in gaming, and that would be great too if they do. But again, the overhead's going to be a lot. It's going to cost a lot, right? So in that sense, we're going to need more cash to do so. And I'm sure, if we do more share offerings, people would be happily, buying this company from buy a piece of that company for the future earnings of the company too. And again, that probably will attract more investors that are technology based. That's their allures. Like, oh, technology has to be evaluated at 10 times book, right? You see Palantir is like going crazy right now. But again, it's just the perception of investor in general, right? Because they see tech as this high growth, 30% a year type of growth over here. And without thinking, it's like, hey, this type of growth is not sustainable. You can't just go growing 30% a year indefinitely. At some point, you're going to have to slow down. But I mean, again, it could be good for the price action at that if they were to announce to do stuff like that in the future. Will he do that though? I don't think so. I think he's just going to focus on the e-commerce part of it and kind of expand on that. Expand on these collectibles items. Refurbish items. So what's the other one? I don't know. Again, or gaming in general, like just partner up with Microsoft and Nvidia and all that stuff to sell those GPUs, computer components, right? Anything that is related to gamers. We could do that. So that's it. Yeah, I wouldn't put it past them though, but it would be perhaps another 5 years before we're gonna even think about that type of technology base. Right now, I'm sure like private label items, that's what he's focusing on right now, and focusing on increased profit margin for shareholder here. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. But with the NFT marketplace, though, we also kind of see a glimpse of what leadership was trying to get GME to be, and that is a marketplace for gaming items. Okay, in gaming item type things, and for people to transact on the platform itself. So we're more concerned on the customer base than technology base type of items here. Like I said, I think it's because of the high overhead costs, to develop, code base type of business. unless he could make a game of some sort that are, online. That would be cool too. But again, you need a kick-ass developer, somebody who's passionate about building games. That would be great. Okay, I can't complain about Ryan Cohen doing his best at that. Yeah, I mean he's good at increasing shareholder equity. That's for sure. However, they do if it makes a constant profit, the stock price will go up and we will be happy to hold the share. Of course. I mean, we have to delay some of the gratification, you guys. I have to repeat what Morantz would say, and that is the best thing that we have now is that the 3 years was behind us. So the growing pain, we already gone through it 3 years already. Yes, the worst part is over. Last 3 years was the growing pain. that we all has to go through as the company shareholder. Okay. And so this next phase of GameStop is going to be growth. Okay, so that's why I always say, if you find GME at this price point and you're still complaining, if it goes down, you don't understand what you're holding. Okay, so this is the best price point ever. And I will stand by that. 10 years from now, check back to see if I'm right. I'm telling you, 10 years from now, this price point gonna be like, oh, I wish I buy it at this price point. People everywhere, all around the world is gonna say this. Not saying that GME is the only company. I refrain from saying that because, other company might give you a better return, but none that will be as stable, in my opinion, as the leadership that is in GameStop right now. Okay, and when you have leadership that is, long term, they're just thinking about, like, they sacrifice short term gratification in order to build something more better in the next decades, then you want that, right? So that's the stability, that's the wealth building time. If you're young enough, oh my goodness, if you're young enough to be here and be so relentless at accumulating this particular security, I envy you. But again, just be careful. Make sure you have your emergency fund just in case something's crazy happened in the world. You have, job layoff. I just saw some, I think, was it Microsoft or Google? I think Google lay off another thousands of jobs again. For some reason, it's the greatest economy ever, right? That's what we've been told for so long. People are increasing salary, but for some reason, we can't. Well, because everything else goes up with it too. So again, and on top of that, all of the companies out there seems like they are laying off because I'm sure they cannot sustain the amount of working people, coders or whatever, software business of some sort. They can't maintain that balance sheets. Not to say that Google won't make any more money or anything like that. There's just less money to be made here. And so they're just trying to balance their books in terms of their business outlook over here. So is there any more growth? I don't know. It just seems like everything going downhill from here for the big companies out there. Again, they're just too expensive. They can't grow as fast as they, as GME, a small, strong balance sheets company that is on its way to become one of the big one. So this is, again, that's why I'm saying this is the best time to get into companies like this. And on top of that, with the retail negative sentiment, on top of that, you have the reputation of the companies being dampened by the media out there. On top of that, retail was retail apocalypse. Perhaps it's some of the negative sentiment because of the retail apocalypse. Every single retail stores are closing down right now. So some of that sentiment, believe it or not, can cause price suppression for that purpose as well. I mean, can cause people not to pay attention to GME. That's what I'm trying to say. Hello, because I can. What's up? Anyway, so that is about GME. Now I'm gonna switch gear to something different, but still I could relate it back to GME as well. But this is also about crypto. and the industry in general. So XRP obviously is one of my, I'm talking my own book here, okay, you guys. So full disclosure, I own XRP. Obviously, I think it's the greatest, blockchain ever. So just be aware. I am cherry picking good news for XRP, okay? So same thing with GME too. Only positive, no negative, okay? That type of thing. All right. So with this one, it's been a long time ago. I don't remember. Oh, it says here. 2013. Of course, back then, they have a different name for Ripple Lab. Ripple Lab is a company that is focusing on cross-border payment. Okay. And around that time, Bitcoin was just invented, right? Back in the 2009. And Ripple is one of the other ones, right? And let's listen to this segment here. It's only 4 minutes, so I'm just going to come back.
Bitcoin. Now there's another one. It's called OpenCoin. No lack of startups wanting to cash in on the digital currency phenomenon. OpenCoin has just secured the backing of Google Ventures, so a little bit of backup, really backing Mojo and China-based IDG Capital Partners. OpenCoin is the company behind the Ripple currency exchange, which Chief Executive Chris Larson likens to a free PayPal. I love that idea. If I could do PayPal free. Chris Larson himself, co-founder and CEO of OpenCoin, joins us from San Francisco, California. Chris, good afternoon to you. So what is OpenCoin exactly? I mean, the folks over at Google, the folks over at IDG seem to see value. Are you a knockoff, a copycat of Bitcoin?
Well, OpenCoin is building the Ripple network, and Ripple is sort of a second iteration of the Bitcoin concept. And we classify Ripple and Bitcoin as what we call math-based currencies, as opposed to virtual currencies. And we think the world needs these kinds of currencies, and more importantly, the payment systems that sort of come with them. That's what enables the sort of idea of free payments globally to anyone who has an internet connection.
Now, I understand with Bitcoin, because they were sort of the first pioneer and people got to know that name first, you do math algorithms, and if you're smart enough to sort them out, you end up minting your own currency. How exactly does Ripple work? Is it a similar platform?
Yeah, so it's based on the same idea. Math-based currency simply means that the currency itself is defined by a mathematical relationship of servers in a distributed network. So instead of it being controlled by a central authority, whether that be a company or a country, it's based simply on a math relationship. So the idea is that there can never be any more of the currency once the amount has been set. So it can't be debased, for example, and then people can always depend on a predictable number. Ripple and Bitcoin, though, work in different ways. We've saw what Bitcoin has done over the last 4 years. We're really excited by it. We kept the good stuff, and we sort of fixed some of the flaws that we felt could be iterated on, and that's what OpenCoin is trying to do.
Now, how widespread is it going to be? I mean, what can I do? What can I actually do with Ripple right now? What can I transact in, and what is your global audience, your global reach like right now, or is it really very, very nascent early days to be talking in terms like that?
Yeah, it's definitely the early days. There's 100 billion ripples that have been created. About 1 billion of them have been now distributed in the system. But I think what people are now realizing with these math-based currencies is it isn't maybe the currency that is so potentially revolutionary, but really the payment systems that naturally come with them. So the idea that you can make global payments in any currency to anyone, which really should be great for e-commerce, for example. There are irreversible payments, so merchants love that. It's analogous to cash. So what these systems should really do is really help merchants, small businesses, and people lower the cost of doing commerce. And we think that's the most exciting thing about this movement, and that's really what we focused on. So, for example, Ripple is multi-currency. You can use it with math-based currencies, virtual currencies, regular currencies. There's a distributed currency exchange built right into it, and that's what we're excited about.
Well, you know as well as I do, Chris, about all these issues about cyber hacking, privacy intrusions, and that sort of stuff. There's a lot of bad stuff going on the World Wide Web. I mean, because these are, digital-based currencies, what is the potential for embezzlement, theft, basically, all-out malfeasance with a vehicle like yours?
So obviously the technology is so critical here. I think one of the things that Bitcoin has proven that was really exciting was the cryptography has held up extremely well. It's probably been the most attacked payments network in the world, and it's held up extremely well. And I think it's because of the distributed nature. So in some ways that makes these systems less vulnerable because they actually work on a very large distributed network throughout the world, all organized by a simple protocol, and again based on a math relationship. So I think obviously the early days, but I think we're very excited about the potential that we're seeing.
Best of luck, Chris. Thanks for joining us from San Francisco, California.
San Francisco, California. Yeah, I haven't seen that in its entirety, so it was like mesmerized by that. So the point of me showing that one is just, again, just to give you a kind of what the early on description of what Ripple or XRP Ledger turned out to be. And it used to be OpenCoin, I guess. And, they were more focused now on the global payments than the domestic, because I think they met with a lot of opposition. As you see, if people caught on to what Ripple is trying to do at the time, they would have been able to build on top of the ledger freely, right? But because there's a lot of misinformation and also fear too, right? Because the government might come after it. And, as you know, Bitcoin and this industry in general, it's not just Bitcoin, but at the time it was like Bitcoin was the big one, right? Has been fighting for regulation, throughout the decades that this type of thing has been on. So up until now, we still don't have any clear regulation on it. And so that's why nobody, caught on to building anything on XRP. And I just think that is such a missed opportunity, right? Had people understood that, they would have been a lot more freer to, do your business and all that stuff in order to not even paying to PayPal, right? So that could be a threat too to those industry, and perhaps that's the people that really keep it on the down low and spreading a lot of misinformation about this chain in general. Of course, like that's my speculation here. Of course, I don't have any proof that those money would go to the media that would kind of attack the XRP ledger for whatever reason, right? Of course, again, there's a battle here between Bitcoiners and the XRP army for decades already, and I think right now it's being flared up again because they just bring up the same, talking point to attack each other. It's like when they're supposed to be helping in, ushering this type of new innovative way to send value across the internet. And that's all it is. It's just that a way to send value across the internet without duplicating. They solve the duplication problem because PayPal, right? It's just like when you send $1 through your PayPal, that dollar then get deducted, but it's through the bank account. Like there's a different entity that has to oversee that. And that's why it takes so long for your fund to settle. But on the blockchain, it just happened instantly because not only you have a record of my own balance in my wallet, it would get deducted off of my wallet into whoever I'm sending it to. And so that's the technology that essentially that's what, blockchain technology is solving right now. The redundancy so that my dollar that I'm spending in my wallet cannot be replicated to a different one. So, and you could also, think about like naked shorting too, right? It's impossible to naked short on the blockchain if everything run on the blockchain. Okay, again, that's the key. You have to, get people in to, agree to run their, trading system on the blockchain. Yes, you can. There's no off switch, on switch. There's no pause or whatever. So that's gonna be, scare some people, especially the people that have billions of dollars to lose here, that they spend a lifetime to accumulate, whether through fraud or through or through their own, hard work. But the point is there's a lot of pushback on that particular technology, and now the world's about to see what Ripple's and XRP ledgers could do. Again, it's still scary. I'm not saying what if something happened and too many onslaughts of volume coming in and the XRP breaks. Who knows? It could be. But that's the exciting part, is that we don't know. Okay.
It's worth kind of going back to your case with the SEC first, because you are...
This is more recent, 11 months ago. So just note that.
Are far along, and as we sit here today on February 20th, how would you describe how the dispute has changed?
Well, look, I think for whatever reason, the SEC decided to make Ripple their first major case around this. And look, the reality prior to the case, we had been advocating for more clarity around the rules and regulations. And the good news has been other countries around the world have leaned into that and codified what should the rules and regulations, what's unique about crypto that needs to be changed. The SEC, frankly, has just hired more litigation that, what we call regulation through enforcement. And it really just started suing lots of people. And what's unfortunate is they have lost consistently. They lost the Ripple case on everything they cared about. I mean, even the soundbite you just had up, your Chair Gensler is saying that a lot of these are securities. What the courts have said in the cases they have brought, and certainly the case with Ripple and the token XRP, the court determined that XRP is not in and of itself a security.
When do you...
That's key. And this is why I'm so bullish in this particular token or coin or whatever you want to call it. It's because of that part. So the judge already ruled that XRP is not a security. Yes, there's a second part in which, because Ripple is a company, sold some of the XRP to the accredited investor or banks or whatever in order to do business with them. Those are considered security, which whatever the law is, that's what the judge rules was. So Ripple as a company did have some liability on that, but not the XRP token that is on the market right now.
Think that this will finally no longer be an overhang for you guys? You're one of many companies that are fighting the SEC at this point in time, but when can you call this an all clear? And do you think that this will make it so far as to reach higher courts?
Well, hard to predict whether it's going to reach higher courts. On everything we cared about, we won against the SEC. Will the SEC appeal and move it up the courts? We'll see. They sought approval to do what's called an interlocutory appeal. The courts denied that also. The case against me personally and Chris Larson personally was dismissed entirely with prejudice. So, look, from my point of view, the SEC has lost consistently. They lost the Grayscale case. I think if you're following the Coinbase case, the tone from the judge is, I think, pretty skeptical about some of the SEC's arguments. It stops, I think, when the SEC either realizes they're losing consistently, or you have Congress lean in and write new legislation. That's probably going to be hard in an election year. Maybe we'll see legislation around stablecoins this year, but I'm hopeful and we'll continue to advocate in Washington.
Well, you mentioned the Grayscale case, Brad, and it's Kaylee in Washington. Obviously, that was pretty instrumental in ultimately the SEC granting approval to not just Grayscale's conversion to a spot ETF, GBTC that is, but spot Bitcoin ETFs more broadly. I'm sure you've seen there's buzz out there about potentially an XRP ETF being in the future. What do you make of that speculation?
Well, Kaylee, good to see you. I think it only makes sense there will be other ETFs. It's a little bit like, the earliest days of the stock market. You don't really want exposure to one stock or one company. You want to typically think about diversifying risk and what have you. And so I think we will see other ETFs. When we will see them is hard to predict. The sad reality of what we saw with the Bitcoin ETF is it was only because the courts forced the SEC's hand, and really Chair Gensler's hand, that we saw that finally come to fruition. And look, in my opinion, it makes these markets safer. It makes them more robust. And so this is good for the investment community to kind of lean into that.
I think that's a good point. But anyway, so I'll stop there. But I think there's a rumor, obviously, you can't confirm that yet. With Trump, I think he went to talk with Trump during their inaugurations and whatever crypto ball they have. And, it's safe to say that, yes, this administration has been very friendly, to the crypto world in general. And in my opinion, I'm sure Trump has seen the potential to at least, increase wealth for the American people, in my opinion. Okay, we'll see. Based on the action of the man, to see the result. So I'm not going to believe that until that happened. But seemingly, yes, he's been opening a lot of opportunity in this space, particularly. So, but anyway, so this Brad Garlinghouse has been rumored to be the counsel for the crypto czar or whatever. So that would be very bullish for XRP as well, if that were to happen. Because again, I'm sure in that talk with Trump, he probably said a lot of things about how good it is for America to have this technology, and because it could act as a reserve currency, and if it's that useful, if it's that powerful, you could bring in a lot of investment into the country, and so. Again, you would be, America would be the top instrument to build wealth once again, okay, which is already the biggest wealth-building country in the world already. So, but yeah, I mean, whether you kind of agree with that or not, it really depends on where you are in life. I get that. But yeah, I'll talk about that later. So that's important. I like that.
So you would welcome an XRP ETF then?
We would certainly welcome it, and I think it's inevitable that there'll be, multiple ETFs around different tokens. And I think you'll even see ETFs potentially around baskets that also, I think, further diversify that risk.
Given there's so much excitement around the ETF dynamic here, are you in talks with the largest issuers, particularly BlackRock, to get this done?
Well, I'm not going to comment on that. I know BlackRock has said some things publicly. We think it makes sense for the XRP community overall. Ripple obviously is a very important stakeholder in the XRP ecosystem, but we're not the only player. And look, we've seen, before the SEC lawsuit, XRP was the second most valuable digital asset. I think because of the headwinds of that lawsuit, we've now seen that largely abate. But the long-term view on these things is about, how do you create utility and really solve real-world problems with these different digital assets? Bitcoin's doing that very well as a store of value. XRP and its dynamics around being very fast, very efficient, and low cost on a per transaction basis makes it ideal for payments. And that's where Ripple really has leaned into as a company.
Yeah, so that's the value coming from XRP through its utility, that eventually people are going to need XRP to transact all over the world. Right? Okay, that's why you need XRP, because it's cheap and fast and more reliable than fart coin. Okay. Fart coin. Okay, so that's that. What else? Let's see. I did that. Of course, Super Bowl is live. I don't know anyone watching that. But let me switch gear once again. I feel like, ranting about this real quick, because I feel like the US aid thing has been, I guess, eye-opening for me. Now, I am not affiliated with any party anymore. I used to register as a Democrat. Now I'm independent because I feel like both of them are crazy. And so that's just me. But I think, again, over the years, I feel like Democrats has been kind of slowly becoming this. It's like the opposite of what my core belief is as as a person or as a society, that I in my view, Democrats used to be more for working class, corporations bad and all that stuff, right? They still kind of talk that way, but in actuality, what they're doing is kind of contradicting, the message that they convey. And one of the things that I've kind of grew to realize is that from this USA thing, is that most of them are bought and paid for. As I suspected, right? And, I voted for Bernie Sanders to be the nominee as a Democrat. And that's the only reason why I registered as a Democrat at the time, because I want Bernie to be the nominee. But as I saw how Bernie was kind of screwed by the DNC, they screwed Bernie Sanders out of the DNC, out of the nominee. And had that happened, Trump would not have been the president at that time, the first time, because they want Hillary. They want Hillary to win so bad that they're turning blind eye on, how popular how popular Bernie Sanders was, because he was running on, increasing the minimum wage to $16 at the time. I remember that. And healthcare, at the time he was running on making Medicaid, at least decreasing the age from 65 to 55. And that would be a lot, would be helpful for, older population here, which at the time, of course, I think my dad and my mom would have benefited from that. So instead of having to wait 10 more years, they would have had the ability to get health care at an earlier age. Now, in hindsight, though, I don't think that would have that would not have happened. Because, again, they could have just said, just kidding. Oh, it's just too hard to pass that particular law. Or, the executive order doesn't do much and all that stuff, which is BS, right? Obama has the ability to bring in public option, but he never did that. And so that was a disappointment. But again, at the time, because he was such a great speaker, nobody cared to even check to see what's happening. Sometimes like, oh, we have the great president here. But anyway, so fast forward. So Trump was president because of that. And I just feel like it's almost a divine guided, right? Because had Trump didn't win the first time, today would not have happened. And so, and again, it's Robert F. Kennedy ran, as an independent. Actually, he was running as a Democrat, but the Democratic Party didn't want Robert F. Kennedy, right? And in my opinion, if the Democrat didn't screw themselves because they oust Robert F. Kennedy, Trump would not have won either, and the assassination attempt would not have happened. But again, because they're so corrupt, like the Democrat. I'm not saying every Democrats are like this, okay? I'm saying most of them are like that. They just go along to get along type thing. They don't have a mind of their own to have their own stand on that, right? So that's just my thought. Crazy. Anyway, so the whole point of me bringing that up is that I feel like, this is why it's so important to have your own mind. Think for yourself, even for the stock too. If you hear something like even, the Greg account I just saw, it's like they're trying to pin to kind of like connect. And again, this is probably one of the things that they're trying to mislead people here, that the picture, the person that take the picture was Roy and Kitty. And it seems like they're trying their best at connecting Roy and Kitty with Ryan Cohen, that they know each other, that they planned this whole thing. So be careful. That could be the narrative that they're trying to get you, or, so that, people think that, oh, he must have known. Like Roy and Kitty must have known, and not really taking a look at the market structure here. That it's happening every single day, that this stock trades like a penny stock, even though there are people who buy into this stock, right? Just to confuse you. Just to say that, hey, this stock is not valuable. Look, nobody pay attention to this stock, right? And so just be careful. There's a lot of misleading information out there that, who knows? I mean, USAID apparently fund a gamer raid or whatever, Gamergate. I don't even know what that is, but apparently something to do with the video game, to try to clean up some certain, inserting certain ideology into the game industry. But anyway, so to try to get people to hate on certain shooting games, whether it's politicized or whatever, to violence or whatever. But again, yeah, it's I have not researched enough on that, so I'm just gonna stop there. But anyway, so Robert F. Kennedy also still, remember, owned Gamestop, and I don't think he sold anything. So, because it's not part of his department, I don't think he's going to speak on that. But he holds GameStop share as well. So just so you know. But yeah, he's all about well-being, healthy, getting healthy, and this type of thing is a very good advice. In my opinion, the food industry has been paid off so many registered dietitians out there to kind of mislead you, and the people that are not misleading you, but they still have the same narrative of certain suggestion on the diets are being suggested based on false science. Okay. And usually those are funded by, the very food industry that is trying to tell you, oh, the reason why you are unhealthy is because of you. Has nothing to do with what you eat so much. It has something to do with your, activity. Say, well, most of the stuff that you eat kind of affect your mood, right? Most of the time, you might not even want to move sometime because you feel so depressed, quote unquote, because of what you eat. And I truly believe that, And so if you're unknowingly eating something that you think is good for you because, you've been taught that it's good for whatever reason, that, oh, it's not as harmful as these people are telling you, then you eat it and then you feel, oh my God, why am I so not energetic? There's no energy whatsoever, like sugar, for example, right? Every single ingredient, every single things that you have or bought from the store that are highly processed have a lot of sugar in it, and that's why it's so addictive. Like one of the most addictive ingredients in every food that you have. And so that's why people cannot stop eating. I don't know, but anyway, so that's my schmeal there. I don't know why I rant on that part. Not sure how many people are still here. But anyway, so that's one of the Democrats that I was following. Of course, I would have voted for him if it was still in the Democratic Party. But in Tulsi Gabbard too, one of the most moral base. She used to be the chair woman for the for the Democratic Party. And she resigned because she wants to endorse Bernie Sanders against Clinton at the time, Hillary Clinton. And so again, that's why they don't like Democrats that have a mind of their own. Okay, and that's what I disagree with. And yeah, I'm glad that she has a high position right now in Trump campaign too, in Trump administration too. So, but yeah, so I see a shift there, and that's why I voted for Trump this time. It's again, there's many other reasons why I voted for Trump, but that was one of the main one. And again, I really see that at this point in time, I feel like he become grown. Okay, he's more mature and I guess less offensive at the moment. I don't know. I'll stay away from that topic. But I feel like he's more becoming more a leader than the first time. Okay, so the USAID ID thing. Let's listen to this beautiful lady here, and she has a great point. I know she swears, so just if you could get over, the language, I think she has a great point here. Okay.
For the Democrats and, their cronies that follow them, can I just say a few things real quick? Now, you have Democrats losing their shit outside of the Department of Education. Here you go.
We're members of Congress.
We're members of Congress. We're members of Congress.
We're coming in. Don't lock the door. We're coming in. Who are you?
You're not coming in.
Who are you?
Who are you?
Who are you? Who are you?
And they're losing their shit because they are members of Congress and they should be allowed in there. Do y'all not forget the precedent that you set back in July of 2021? In case you need a fucking refresher, let me remind you.
I'm an attorney here to see a client.
An attorney is here to visit his client, and they have locked him out from seeing his client. This is ridiculous.
Mask on.
We have our masks on. Everyone here has their masks on. We're attempting to go inside, and currently, as
Congressman?
Yeah, the door's locked, and again, we're just here to ask questions.
I understand your followers have an issue with memory, and they cannot recall back to 4 years ago. 5 years ago. It's too hard for them. I don't know if it's brainwashing, stupidity, whatever it is, it's not a good enough excuse. But you guys set the precedent on locking Congress members out of buildings. You did that. During Joe Biden's administration, you did that. And while you're so mad about the Department of Education, is it because you're worried about all of the funding they're going to find for shit like this? Yeah, I don't know about you, but to me that screams incentive for taxpayer dollars to be funded into your school. That's what that screams. Let me remind you, not that long ago, Democrats acted like absolute fucking lunatics over USAID. They're doing the same thing at the Department of Education. If their behavior is an indication of anything, it's that there is a lot of senseless spending that's about to be cut, at the Department of Education. And that I can't wait for. And for all the liberals who say, well, this is what you voted for. You're damn fucking right, Skippy. Buckle up, sunshine. It's a long fucking road for you, but we are so tired of our dollars, our taxpayer dollars, money that we pour into this country being spent senselessly for you to abuse the American citizens out of their pocketbooks while you line yours and fuck over our children, our future leaders. It's coming to an end. You can either get on board with it or you can watch your head explode on fucking camera because you're losing your shit. No one gives a fuck what you think anymore. Any type of reputation, any type of respect that you thought you had, you are killing it every second that you continue to act like wild fucking animals over some shit that you knew was a problem for years. And the only reason why you're mad now is because you're not the ones doing it. You had 4 years to get shit in order. And instead, you fucked over everybody in this country. This shit is on your hands. You set the precedent for it. You set the precedent for locking people out of buildings. You set the precedent for who you wanted in and out of it. You can't be mad that now it's coming to bite you in the ass. Eat that shit. You made it.
Fire. Okay, let's see. Did I mute myself up until this point? Okay, so all right. Because I can. How many years they've been in charge? Never fixed the U.S. spending, housing. Of course. One patient only need a few. What, right, it's one simple job to afford a house, live normally, and they took it away. Yep. And I think it's systemic, right? It's not just the Democrats. Obviously, older Republican, are also in on it as well. You know, the whole Iraq war and all that stuff, and only to find out later there's no weapon of mass destruction, and then just sweep under the rug. Nobody really care for it anymore. And again, it's just a bombardment of new information so much so that, and even the news media is supposed to be the one that the watchdog, right, of these people, and they don't even tell you that. But again, the news media has evolved into just an arms of, propaganda for whoever party, whoever pays them, right? And with the USA thing, you kind of find out, okay, political has some. That's why they have these echo chambers, like to try to make a certain group of people looks like a terrible human being, when in fact we all just like a human being. And don't get me wrong, not just on the Democratic side, Republican sides as well. To say that the Democrats, the Democratic Party the only one is who pays the media to do that. The funding is also diverted to Republican side of things too. So again, that's why, if you're a Republican, you only see the Republican side of things. If you're Democrat, you only see the Democratic side on things. So that's why we can't even come together as a country. We get mad at each other all the time. And that's the game, is that they want you to be mad at each other rather than talk about what is happening behind closed door, which is the dollar is being debased. I mean, for decades, centuries actually, the Federal Reserve has to come down. I really think, again, there's a need to educate the masses now about how the Federal Reserve has been dismantling, every single, and again, this is global too. It's not just the United States. It's just more egregious here. We just feel like because we have so much wealth here that we have this idea that we could cushion the blow a little bit here as a nation, right? Because we have Social Security, so kind of like patching it up. if Great Depressions comes, we would have very struggling like anything. Okay. And so my whole point is that, we've been asleep so much because they kept us fight each other and not really thinking about our future, wealth over here, right? So that they could distract us by saying that, oh, inflation has to be 2% a year. Why? Why do we have to have inflation? That's actually another invisible tax that is placed on everyday America, right? So here's another thing. Operation Mockingbird. Oh, okay. There's another, what is that? Is that one of those operation, again, to try to convince people to hate on each other? Now, this is, again, the oldest trick in the book, right? Divide and conquer. If you keep people distracted, they're not going to understand what's happening to them and all that stuff. So, I don't know. I mean, how deep this go, but look at this. It's like, I thought Bill Gates is giving his own money, right, as a charity, But come to find out, what? Almost $5 billion go to him? I thought all of this is supposed to be his money. He has $100 billion to give away, but why did he need $5 billion from taxpayer to go to this? And he's notorious at promoting, vaccine. Now, here's another point too. If Elon Musk have not buy X from Twitter, at the time, have not buy this platform, do you think this type of thing would come out? Not a chance. It's like, again, the news was supposed to report on this type of thing, but rather, they would, frame certain. Anyway, very frustrating. And again, I know a lot of Democrats as well that they turn a blind eye on this type of thing because, CNN is spinning it as people are losing their jobs and all that stuff. Okay, well, if your job is to do evil stuff, let's stop it. Why not divert that money to do something else more useful for the country? Build more infrastructure. I thought Flint, Michigan still needs some clean pipeline over here. But yet, you have tens of billions of dollars to go outside. How much money is sent to Ukraine that the Democrats are okay with? You see what I mean? So again, it's the same thing with back in Iraq time, right? Iraq war. How many trillions of dollars was lost back then? So it's ridiculous. And so no wonder American people has been struggling while the whole world thinks that we have it good in this country. It's crazy, But again, in comparison to any other country, we were doing better than the rest of the world, but not much better though, you guys. And so, this type of thing too, it's coming out. These people are untouchable at one point. Why? Because they have the money from taxpayer money to do their bidding, And then Fauci as well. He was the one who famously said, oh, if these people don't taking vaccine, they're not allowed to go to work. And of course, like most people takes vaccine because of that. They don't want to lose their job. They want to, so it should not have been mandated. It should have been handled a lot better. But again, come to find out, of course, they have, it seems like a setup from the start. Yeah. And apparently, USAID also is the one that fund the virus study on gain of function and all that stuff. We found that out already, but again, we just didn't see the payment track. And it's baffling to me that the Democrats are now fighting to not be audited. Like, wouldn't you want to see where the money go? I mean, in fact, I remember one Elizabeth Warren kind of back in the 2009 or something, campaign on that. I saw a video briefly earlier. Campaign on that. It's like, oh, we should be able to see where our federal government spend the taxpayer dollar. I think that would be it's like, but now she's trying to block it and saying, it's crazy. Okay, let's see.
I want back every goddamn tax dollar I ever paid in. Ever.
I think that's a good idea. This is AI generated. But yeah, apparently Chelsea Clinton received $84 million. $84 million. Crazy, huh? Anyway, let's see this guy. I'm just doom scrooming, you guys, so if you don't want to waste your time here.
Dude, this USAID thing is so much worse than people realize. Do y'all remember when people were angry at Elon Musk for buying Twitter for $40 billion? Because he could have solved world hunger with that money. Okay? Keep that same energy. Okay? We were supposed to have sent like somewhere around $200 billion to Ukraine. Remember all those little packages? Well, even Zelensky says that only about half of it even got there. So there's $100 billion that's just floating around somewhere. That could have solved world hunger. But your government was so inefficient and so corrupt, and you don't even care about it? In fact, you're more mad that we stopped US aid for a minute and paused it so we can figure out what the flip all of our money's going to, bro? This is not a normal response. Your reaction is being manipulated by the media. It has to be, because you would be mad under any other circumstances. Imagine your dad left you a business that used to make you $100 a month. And now that business is losing you like $10,000 a month. You would go in and go, what's going on? And it's like, pretend it's a mattress company. And you look at the expenditures and you're like, well, these aren't springs and cotton and mattress sheets and things like that. No, we're buying cement in Dubai for 10 times the price that anybody else ever paid. What's going on? And then one of the managers comes up to you and goes, hey, you're not supposed to have access to this warehouse. What are you even doing in here? You would be like, I'm getting scammed so hard, pause everything. Everybody's going to jail, bro. Meanwhile, Maui, North Carolina, and California are all burning down, and we never seem to have enough money for that. Hell, Flint, Michigan's water costs like $1.5 billion, and it would be fixed, bro. We give Ethiopia more than that every year.
Dang, that's crazy.
Start looking at all the politicians that have been connected to this thing, and you wonder, why are these guys yelling so much? And you look into how they're receiving their revenue. Oh, it goes out in USAID, it does a little cool loop-de-loop dance, and then comes back to their families. Oh, well, Ross, if it was this bad, the news would have told us about it. Nope, because the other thing USAID is funding is all of the freaking media, bro. They are deciding what you guys think, which is why all of them have made you all think that we're the bad guys this whole time. They knew that if we won, we would see this and cut off their funding. There's a movie called The Truman Show with Jim Carrey where basically everything around him is like a controlled environment and things like that. If you found out that all of the same opinions that you've had from the media for the last 10 years were funded and created for you to have those opinions, wouldn't you pump the brakes a little bit and start thinking maybe the right-wingers aren't so bad? We voted for this so we can see all the leeches that are sucking the money out of all of our company, bro. Join the team.
That's crazy. I agree with the man. I mean, how many people are actually affected by this? Like, can you think of? I mean, one of the what's that lady name? Oh, Maxine Water. Yeah, that's that lady was like caught in the scandal of the FTX scandal too. She received money from Sam Bankman-Fried directly into her campaign or whatever. I don't know how. No wonder, we don't hear anything about Sam Bankman-Fried right now. And I think he got scot-free, right? Something crazy. And again, like it's the corruption that is happening, and I wouldn't surprise me at all if somebody's money is going to bash GameStop. I mean, anything is like, is it a conspiracy theory? It's crazy how the world is working. But again, no wonder people are just so mesmerized by the media at some point, you know? Crazy. Look at that. And again, like, I bet you anything, most of the Democrats don't get to see this. Don't get to see, or even if they do, they don't believe it because they think that, you know, MAGA is crazy. Like those are just fringe crazy people. Oh man. And apparently she's worth $80 million or something. Inside trading? I don't know. Nancy Pelosi, you know, trading stocks individually and not getting any reprimanding. And so, I mean, look, Republican does it too. And that's why, you know, they never changed that law. Mitt Romney, you know, is from Bain Capital. Think about that. So again, they are all in on it. No wonder they don't want to change anything that is meaningful for regular people like you and I. Okay, let's see this.
Suddenly in your inbox find a termination notice or a leave of absence notice that you didn't expect to get on a flawed predicate that you're doing radical leftist insubordination. It's pretty jarring. And because there's so many lies and falsehoods circulating, and so many claims that people are sort of not with the program, I think people are just completely dislocated. There's no stable ground on which to walk. And then, of course, most of them have been laid off, so they're worried about how they're going to pay the bills and how they're going to make rent. But maybe the part that is the most striking and, for me, inspiring, if not surprising, having worked there for 4 years, is that, you know, the people who work at USAID did not come to work at USAID for the money. The civil servants, the foreign servants, the contractors, they came to USAID because they wanted to make a difference in the world, because they saw America's...
Okay, then why are they charging so much? Why not donate? How about Bill Gates? Donate that $5 billion instead of getting out $5 billion from that. What? Unless Elon Musk is lying about these datas, you know, but which I don't think. I don't know, you know, if somebody has to verify that. But I'm like, when I listened to this, I was like, why? Why is it people are not seeing this? I have no idea.
Interests as tied up with the interests of people, vulnerable people around the world. And so even as they're struggling to figure out how to make rent, all of a sudden, they're most struggling with the fear that so many millions of people who relied on us as a country, on USAID as an agency, but on them as individuals, that those individuals out in the world have no place to turn. And indeed, they're showing up and finding health clinics shuttered and soup kitchens closed, and advisors who were helping governments renegotiate debt with China, those advisors, now taken off the books. So just the wreckage in the world is what the USAID staff that I'm in touch with are carrying with them. That's what's keeping them up at night, as much as the question of, what am I going to do tomorrow? And, how do I take care of my family?
Wow, that's sad. Let's see. Oh, Bill Gates. Okay, let's listen to this one.
USAID. He says, quote, with the blessing of President Trump And on his platform X, he called the government agency evil and a viper's nest of radical left Marxists who hate America, adding that it was time for it to die. We got so many questions, Bill, for you on Threads, my followers. And do you think that Elon Musk, or for that matter, Donald Trump, after you all had that 3-hour dinner and talked about the important work that organizations like this do you think anybody's going to listen?
I'm very hopeful that the Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, who was in Africa and saw this great work, and President Trump will work to preserve the bulk of what's there, whether that named agency stays in place, whether every program does. But, an abrupt ending of that work would really put to the test, is it in the value of Americans to take 0.5% of the budget and keep tens of millions of Africans alive? Or have we sort of overnight decided that 0.5% shouldn't be spent that way? And it is a political question. I have a clear point of view. I know great people in that agency.
And it's not just Africa, by the way. It's all over the world.
It is. It's mostly the benefits of that work of USAID broadly are global. The HIV work, because of the nature of the epidemic, is about 80% in Africa. And the things USAID funds, I fund with billions of dollars. And I'm very careful to make sure that money is well spent. And so I think naively, people hear the most random foreign aid things and think, okay, it's all like that. So I have a challenge to say to Americans, is this in your value system? And does it benefit our security or our moral example to keep these programs going? And I think people of both parties will find this a deeply moral and important thing to keep strong.
Okay, well, why don't you use your billions of dollars without this aid and use that aid to fund other stuff that will help? That's what I don't understand. And again, like he claims that he spent his billions of dollars of his own money, but I feel like he made more than that based on whatever. Apparently, he was benefiting from the vaccine as well. So, he had some stock, vaccine stock, make hundreds of millions of dollars on it, bragging about it online to some forum. There was an interview on it if you want to search for it. It's crazy. And again, Democrats don't claim, oh, he has the moral authority. It's like the billionaire class come to take over. No? Big influence and all that stuff. Crazy. All right, guys. So I'm just going to end it here. I know you guys feel entertained, but I hope you feel entertainment. But I'm sure there's Super Bowls happening right now. People might not even watch here. But and then Ron Paul, I've listened to him before, so I'll end it on this video here. I'll see you guys later, okay? Okay, bye.
Headline on Breitbart is Trump freezes millions in USAID funds for foreign media. Foreign media, wow. Triggering globalist outrage. I did see a few liberals and Democrats. They're a little bit scared.
Yeah.
They're annoyed and mean and nasty too.
And we talked about it a little bit yesterday on the show. We talked about the fact that Politico was getting paid by USAID and the New York Times were getting paid by USAID. But it's like you scratch the surface and then there's this massive iceberg underneath it. We've only looked at the top of it. So the idea that the U.S. government is funding the foreign media, I mean, it really is, you talk about manufacturing consent. This is what the U.S. government does. It manufactures consent. It pays all the foreign media to say what it wants it to say, and then it tells Americans, look,
The BBC saying it, you know, the Times is saying it, whatever. So go to the next one. There's actually some numbers on this, and this is from the article. American taxpayers are no longer subsidizing foreign media once funded by the U.S. Agency for International Development, prompting left-wing concern for the political impact on global journalism and democracy. Now look at some of these numbers, Dr. Paul. President Donald Trump put a 90-day hold on all USAID's foreign aid this week, which subsequently cut $268 million from media outlets in more than 30 countries, according to the agency's 25 foreign budget reported by Reporters Without Borders. USAID's 2023 fact sheet taken offline due to the hold boasted that the agency supported 6,200 journalists, 707 news outlets, 279 media sector civil society organizations, i.e. NGOs, the Columbia Journalism Review reported. So what does this do, Dr. Paul, overseas with thousands and thousands on the U.S. payroll?
You know, it's similar to the nonsense that was finally exposed was the social media and the government getting together and they cancel people that didn't agree with the COVID.
Yeah, COVID, yeah.
So this is another coalition put together, and that is business people and government, and using these funds to, once again, though, this is similar to COVID, is to affect opinions, you know, and get people upset and get the support they need. And so the neatest thing is happening, and it has to continue, is the exposure.
Well, you know, when we've been talking since 2014, really, about the coup, the Maidan coup in Ukraine, and whenever we point out the involvement of the U.S. government in it, they say, oh, you're just using Russian talking points. Oh, you're on Putin's payroll. Well, it actually turns out that the other side is on Uncle Santa's payroll. You know, they're the ones that are on the payroll. They're the ones that have manufactured this misinformation, disinformation about what had happened. And not only there, but elsewhere, everywhere. I mean, Viktor Orban from Hungary, I talked about it yesterday, he put out another post on X Day talking about, you know, the cat's out of the bag now. All of the media in Hungary that was attacking the government is funded by the U.S. government, you know? And it's, wait, we're paying for the BBC? And the question is how much? Go to the next clip. How much are we paying for the BBC? Well, that blue mark you see up there is USAID. The United States government is the second largest funder, after the UK government, the second largest funder of the BBC. This is incredible. We literally are the second largest donor to the BBC. No wonder they toe the line that Washington wants them to toe.